Welcome back to another episode of Grow Through Ganja Smoke with me, Miss Pearl. This episode is called Go Gina, and it comes from SZA. I haven't listened to SZA in a while. Like, after a while, her and Summer Walker, I was just like, what have y'all done to y'all bodies? Like, what's happened to your faces? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what she got going on. Can't keep up with all this shit. But anyway, this is my perspective on my own personal health, really. So, I got the gout, Gina. And this is like real shit. I've mentioned this on earlier episodes. I'm also on Spotify. So, I've mentioned this in earlier episodes. But I've had that shit since I was 21. So, it's been like 15, going on 16 years. I'm gonna go back. I remember the day that I woke up and I felt like I got bit by something. I thought I got bit by a fucking like venomous, poisonous spider. I don't know. I was like checking my foot out to see like if there was like any spider bite holes. Just I can just remember how painful it was. It was so painful the shit woke me up out my sleep. So as the day went on, my foot and my ankle just got real stiff. And I was like, let me go ahead to the hospital. So I get to the ER. They lay me down on the table or the bed, whatever. Boom, this bitch hit me in the arm with some type of needle that had something in it. My shoulder was burning. It was on fire. The block was hot that day. And then I remember somebody coming in with an even bigger needle and they stuck my foot on my ankle with it. I don't know if she was like trying to hit me with some numbing, whatever, but most of the time that shit don't work for me. And that was one of those times. He pulled some stuff out. Then he sent it to a doctor who then diagnosed me with gout. Gout and no motherfucking joke. And then it's like connected to heart disease. My gout back then was triggered by steak or red meat. And let me tell you, I used to love me a steak and cheese from the curry out. Put everything on it. But the last time I had one, I couldn't put my foot in my shoe because my ankle had just swelled up that bad. So back then, I had to just come to grips with there would be no red meat moving forward. Then eventually the pork had to go, the turkey had to go, and I got all the way down to chicken, and some years ago chicken had to go too. Chicken, you off the farm to get your dirty ass off the farm. And I don't buy red meat or pork anyway, because my kids still eat meat. But I don't feed them that. They don't really eat fast foods like that. It's quite a few things that they don't get in general, especially with the snacks. Mm-mm. Then my father told me that he had it. And he's going on and on about, oh, your son is going to have it. And I'm just like, I'm just asking about it. I didn't ask you to add all that other shit. Like, why would you even speak that shit onto my child? And I used to tell him shit like this. Like, and then he used to tell me stupid shit like, oh, if my gout flares up, I just move on through my day with crutches. Shut the fuck up, man. That shit hurt way too bad to be walking around with some damn crutches. I mean, like these are things that, yeah. I've cut a lot of things out of my diet. So I haven't had any triggers for like years. Other shit has happened. Fuck kidney stones, pulled muscle in my chest, told I was fucking pre-diabetic. Other shit has happened. Definitely told I was overweight. Just printed out some pictures today that reminded me. Recently though, I had been eating a lot of seafood. And then I just started eating shrimp like it was no tomorrow. Fried shrimp, grilled shrimp, steamed shrimp. As long as I didn't care. Shrimp tacos, shrimp pasta. I was shrimping it down to the drawers and socks of the shrimp. It was bad. I was looking like the shark from Shark Tales that had the shrimp cocktail. Yeah, that's how bad it was. That's how I was looking. And then I was laying on the couch dozing off going to sleep. And I was like, God damn, my foot hurt. And I was like, both my feet hurt. I got up the next day like, oh, I'm trying to go to the gym. I was like, why the fuck is my feet hurting like this? Of course, I got a little lifted. That helped a lot. But then my motherfucking knee started hurting. I said, oh no, God, not the knees. Not the knees, God. So, shrimp is off the menu. And it is what it is because I'd rather have my health than to have these fucking problems. The problem is already there. I don't need to magnify it. Like, I don't understand why when people hear that they have certain diseases or ailments or whatever, that they don't jump ahead of it or even make a real effort. Get some help, for real, for real. Because food can be very addictive. I mean, I was just watching Patrice O'Neal. I was fried. I was watching Patrice O'Neal last night. And then, like, the rain was going. It was a really good night for me. Me and myself. It was a really good night. It was a really good night. And he was talking about his struggle with diabetes, with the whole Oreos in the store. Then he needs to get the milk to go with it and blah, blah, blah. And he's, trying to rationalize and trying to negotiate with himself. Like, oh yeah, I don't need both feet. I want my feet, my knees, the heart. I want everything in this original package. I do. So, like I said, shrimp is off the menu. I'm just not one of them type of people that wants to magnify the problem. I want to minimize that shit because I'm also having to set an example. Brown women, like us having kids, it can't be the excuse for not working on ourselves. We have to find gaps and holes where we can work on ourselves for ourselves. Like, yeah, we the example, but I'm also doing it or really doing it for me. Because if I don't get my shit together, neither will my kids. And I already know how it feels to be overweight. It took like 5 years to look like this. And y'all be giving up after like 2 workouts. Like Patrice O'Neal said, he went and he worked out as hard as he could. And then he was like, I gotta do this shit again tomorrow. And he just threw in the towel. He was brilliant with his delivery, but at the same time, what if he actually jumped ahead of diabetes? Where would Patrice O'Neal be today? You know what I'm saying? Imagine him and Bernie Mac in today's time with all this shit going on. And then they fucking let Diddy go. See, they always get us riled up for this bullshit, and then look what the fuck happens. This is why I stay away from a lot of that shit. But remember, you gotta remember your fucking diet is not only what you eat, it's also what you digest through your eyeballs. And for me, I refuse to give up on my health. I really, really do. And I really like being active. I'm like the mom that when my kids doing that shit, I'm doing that shit. For my son's birthday party, I took him and a couple of his friends up to Dodgebow out there by Arundel Mills Mall. And we had a blast. I went in that bitch with my gym clothes because I was coming to get it in. I took my glasses off. I couldn't even see who I was shooting at, but I was in that mother running it up, okay? My daughter had a Nerf war at her karate class, and I was, I walked in there. I started taking my shoes and socks off. The other parents was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I do everything my kids do." And I was in that joint from beginning to end, really, in regards to the activities. I think. Did we leave early? No, I think we was in there from beginning to end. We ain't really had no reason to leave early, but yeah, I think we was in there from beginning to end. I do what the kids do. I don't like being the parent sitting off to the side on the phone or just watching. The worst part about adulthood is how we forget about our inner child and our childhood and just the child that we were. But sometimes, y'all might have been lazy ass kids. For real, for real. Even when I went to Sky Zone with my twin flame and his two girls, I saw like a lot of moms sitting around on their asses. And that's cool. You do your thing. But as much as that shit costs, I'm not sitting around. My ass is out there on the dance floor. And I don't give a damn how stupid I look. As long as I'm alive, I'm moving. So whatever I gotta do, whatever I gotta take out of my diet, I'm always adjusting my diet. Fuck it. That gotta go, that gotta go too. That's why I said I'm giving up snacks for the summer and things are going pretty good. I'm noticing like I'm eating when I'm actually hungry, but goddamn, I be hungry. But, people still drop food off at the office. I think we got like Chick-fil-A yesterday. So I got some of that. Of course, not the nuggets, like the sides. And a wrap. And then somebody bought like a case of those little bundt cakes. I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. But I said need the rest of them halos. I don't know what's going on with the halos either because they not tasting like they came from heaven. So, but I sat over there with those instead of that cake, and that cake was looking good. The icing was looking delicious. But I'd rather have my health. Maybe I get some cake in the fall, just a little piece. But right now, as I'm going through the summer months, I'm trying to get better every day. Whatever I can do to get better, make myself a little bit better than the day before, it is what it is. And when I'm at the gym, when I tell you that this knee be aching like a bitch, I don't care. I tell myself no excuses. I can slow down, but I cannot stop. Plus, I be fried, and that's what actually be helping me get through a whole lot of that. I elevate way past. I keep pushing way through. I don't depend on it, but I love it. How much you selling that weed for, old man? I was at Walmart this past weekend, and this couple walked by this little bag on the ground, and the wife was like, "Is that weed? Is that marijuana?" And then my mother was like, "Is it?" And then I was like, "It is." And I picked it up, and it's in my stash now. So whomever it belonged to, I'm sorry, it don't belong to you no more. Look at me. It don't belong to you no more. But anywho, maybe you got something from it. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you'll be back next week. Maybe you won't. Either way, this has been Growth Through Ganja Smoke with me, Miss Pearl.